in the way he set up his profile. He went from completely losing me in terms of relationship building to potentially having me buy his cupcakes. It's that simple. It's that subtle. A couple other quick things on his profile. Let's say I met him networking. He said, hey, Chris, look me up on LinkedIn. As you know, LinkedIn gives each one of us our own URL. Now, if I'm going to type in John Jones on LinkedIn, do you think I'm going to find him? Probably not. And if I use the URL he's given of linkedin.com/pub/johnjones/3/283/578, there's no way I'm going to remember that. But what can he do? He could create a vanity link. I think we're given 15 characters for a vanity link. I'm sure the name John Jones is taken, so he can't use that as a vanity link. But what about his brand? He sells cupcakes. He's now the cupcake guy. So he meets me in a meeting, tells me, hey, Chris, check me out on LinkedIn. I'm the cupcake guy. LinkedIn.com/IN, cupcake guy. I'll remember that. My vanity link is LinkedIn.com/IN, which is what everybody else is that uses vanity link, Chris Muccio. But I got my name probably about 3 years ago. So some of your names may not be available. What you might want to do is start looking at putting your branding there. Two other quick things at the bottom. When it says summary, a great opportunity to brand with 2 sentences. You could write as much as you want in there, but for the top 2 sentences, I would have a quick branding statement. People will probably not read the rest. And then with specialties, this is all about helping LinkedIn search algorithm. It's all about keywords. He doesn't have a single keyword in there. So what looked effective is really not. So I want to kind of start wrapping up the presentation with some quick tips for you. On current position, obviously it flows like a resume on LinkedIn, but on current position, you should focus on putting your most relevant and robust items there. As you go down to older positions, it should be streamlined to fewer and fewer items. But here's the key takeaway for this. Your most recent position is going to pull into the LinkedIn Outlook toolbar. How many people are using the LinkedIn Outlook toolbar? Okay, so we got a handful of people. Guys, this is extremely powerful for you. Here's what it looks like. I go into LinkedIn. Every time I get an email from someone I don't know, I mouse over the info button, and look what pops up. A little summary. I see the photo. I see how that person's connected to me. I see their professional headline. Branding. Boom, right off an email. I can brand right off my professional headline right there. And then there's a 2-line description. Guess where it comes from? Your current position. So the first 2 lines of your current position should be related to your brand. You'll never know when somebody's checking you out, but always be prepared with your most effective profile and presence that you can. Another thing is your contact settings. In the default side of LinkedIn, this tends to be the last thing on your profile. Most people just click on what you're interested in. Consulting, career, whatever. Guess what, guys? Nobody even looks at that anymore. Nobody. There's complete blindness to that. Here's what I want you to focus on. There's a box to be descriptive. Use that box as your closing pitch. Tell people who you are, what you're available for, and how to contact you. Make it simple for them to say yes. A very simple tip that a lot of people just aren't using. And then another quick tip. Remember, social media is a conversation. It's all about relationship building. When it comes to the invitation, I know a bunch of us use the default invitation. Hey, connect with me on LinkedIn. Well, there's a couple of problems there. Number 1, in social media terms, that's rude. Number 2, in terms of what we're trying to do in relationship building, there's no relationship building to do. So what I want to stress to you guys is refrain from this. Don't ever use another default invitation again. When you send an invite to somebody, understand that you have 300 characters to write something. Try to talk about, remind them where you've met them. Talk about the value you can offer them, and then try to set yourself up for the second step of relationship building. One thing I want to make sure you avoid, do not pitch yourself in this invitation. This is not hire me. This is, I met you, I want to express my value in 140 characters because I got 300 here, and I'd like to connect with you in further relationship building. Very key, and I want to make sure you cross this one out from doing this one again. So here's my last 60-second strategy. I probably could give you 15 of these, but let's just focus on the vanity link. I'd like you to come up with 2. The first one obviously being your name, and if your name's taken, I'd like you to have plan B, which is going to be your brand. And then I'd like you to use this tool called namecheck.com. It's going to look at over 140 sites that are on the web and identify whether or not your vanity link has already been taken. That might be something that drives the way you choose your brand. If you can't get your vanity link in key places, you might want to consider changing your brand. The last thing I want to touch on is the job search function in LinkedIn. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with that. You go into jobs, and here's what comes up. There's suggestions, and obviously a search box. How many of you guys use it right now? Okay, so about a handful. Look how powerful this is. 3-step process. Step 1, I type a job in. I want to look for a job in social media. I click on the search button. It comes up with a list of jobs for social media. And with that list, it tells me who the company is, and then it tells me that there's people that are connected to me to the guy that posted the job. So now I'm going to click on this, because let's say I like this company, and I click on that, and it takes me to the job description. Simple stuff, right? But here's where it gets powerful. Here's the guy who posted the job. The guy's name is Avi. He's a second-level connection to me, meaning he's one removed. And here are the people that are connected to Avi. So if I've been building my relationship and creating trust, I could then call up John or Mark and say, hey, can you guys connect me to Avi? And hopefully they connect me to him and also say a good word about me. So we're not just blindly trying to get into a job. We're now getting referred in through somebody that is a warm contact. A very powerful difference from just simply cold calling people. When I say cold calling, I mean just blindly applying to positions. That's powerful, guys. Extremely powerful. So let's just do a quick wrap-up. We talked about social media. What is it? It's a conversation. And the goal of that conversation is what? Create relationships and build trust. It is not a direct response. It is not immediate gratification. It's about something that grows incrementally. And you need to sustain that. Even when you think no one's listening, people are listening. I want you to manage your reputation. Hopefully there's nothing major out there, but you want to be on top of it. Otherwise, you might end up like a United Airlines, behind it. When it comes to being effective on LinkedIn, you want to make sure you work on your profile. And again, there's a lot of stuff here that we don't have time to go over today, and maybe I'll have the opportunity to come up and go into this in detail at a later date. But make sure you focus on that, get your profile effective, make sure your brand is clearly identified, and then make sure your participation is qualitative and sustained. Now I'm going to offer you guys something I've never done before. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. You guys are actually going to define that for me. But here's my LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn.com/in/Chris Muccio. For anyone that wants to connect with me, I'm going to send you a PowerPoint, today's PowerPoint. And within the next 2 weeks, I'm going to select one profile and do an extreme makeover on that person's profile. So here's what your challenge is. You have 300 characters to convince me why you're the profile I should be looking at. And if you send me a default email, I'm going to delete it. So I have no idea what to expect. It might be a handful of people, it might be a bunch, I have no idea. And within 2 weeks, I'll let you guys know, and we'll do an extreme makeover. Now, I wanted to try out a brand new 3-second brand I have. I'm constantly tweaking my brand. 20-year business growth expert leveraging the business potential of social media. I'm shifting some of what I'm doing because now I'm working as an investor with a startup business. The business is called campussteals.com. It's not live yet, but the goal is to provide college students a daily deal that has a discount greater than 50% off the normal price for merchants that they like the best. So that's my new brand for this statement. And by the way, we're probably, I think UF is one of the first 6 schools we were looking to launch at. So when we do launch in late 2010 or early 11, we will be hiring people for this. So I'd like to wrap up. I'd like to thank you. We'll take questions afterward if you'd like. Thank you. I wish you the best of luck. And again, you guys are on the cutting edge of something spectacular. Make sure you leverage all this potential. And of course, go Gators.